We'll continue. So we were discussing about the advent of Lord Sri Krishna, and we discussed about how Kamsa, he was driving Vasudeva and Devaki just after their marriage, and he hears the Akashvani. Now we may think Kamsa is supposed to be the bad guy, correct? Why is he being warned by Akashvani from the demigods or devatas? In order to understand this, let's take a step back and realize what Kamsa was actually doing. Kamsa was driving Vasudev and Mother Devaki on his chariot. Devaki is his cousin. And she was newly married, so now he is driving the chariot. As he is driving the chariot, he sees the demigod they see Kamsa doing some service to devotees, not ordinary devotees, but pure devotees. Devotees who are none other than the father and mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What happens when we serve devotees? When we serve Krishna, Shastras say Krishna feels very indebted. Last week we were going through some quotes of Damodarmas, and it is said how if we offer one lamp to Shri Radha Damodar, Yashoda Damodar, in this month of Kartik, Krishna becomes so grateful, so indebted, simply accepting that offering, feeling himself insufficient to be able to reciprocate with such a devotee, he just runs after them. It's given like that. This is the effect of serving Krishna. Now, what is the effect of serving devotees? Inconceivable. We can't even imagine what benefit one will get. And now you shift your focus to this scene where Kamsa is there driving the chariot. And who is he having on board in the chariot? Vasudeva and Devaki, purest devotees, devotees of the highest class. And what is he doing? He is doing devotional service. Now the demigods are thinking, we just went and complained to the Supreme Lord to come down because this Kamsa's atrocities is unbearable. And look what he is doing. He is actually now serving pure devotees. If he continues to do this service, then he'll accrue so much spiritual credit that Krishna, rather than killing him, will actually become sold out to him. Will be blessing him so much. Then the whole mission will be spoiled. So they think, we need to do something to stop his service. So then they start to proclaim, oh fool, why are you serving? Why are you driving the 8th son or the 8th child of Devaki? Will actually kill you. So till that point, he was actually doing the topmost devotional service which is capable of even purchasing Krishna. But then, when he heard this, his lower nature kicks in. And then he feels insecure, and he is, from the point of doing pure devotional service to pure devotees, he comes to the point of doing aparad. Now what will happen? He'll come down crashing. So that's what happens. So doing service to pure devotees, doing service to the deities, doing service to Sri Radha Gopinath, it brings incalculable, inconceivable mercy. And that service can be offered in so many ways. Pranayar, Artayar, Diya, Vacha. So this service also puts one in a very safe position. Srila Prabhupada says, when you hear the holy name of the Lord and when you do Sankirtan, that is the safest position to be in. In one advice Srila Prabhupada giving to his disciples, Srila Prabhupada is saying, if you want to take the maximum blessings when you actually chant the holy name, you feel the presence of Krishna. You don't need to artificially do, but Prabhupada says when you chant, you understand this, you are dealing with Krishna directly. And you will naturally feel very secure. So Prabhupada says to be performing Harinam Sankirtan, that's the safest position to be in. Now if we take this devotional service to Krishna, service to the devotees, it gives us maximum benefit. But sometimes we may think, why do I need to do service? I come, I have a direct relationship with Krishna. Krishna knows my heart. Fine. Prabhupada once he goes to raise some funds to build one of the temples. He goes to a rich man. And then Prabhupada says, I have come here because we are building this nice temple so everyone can benefit. You are such a rich person, you can give some donation. And then the person says, oh Swamiji, whenever Krishna desires, I will give. And we may think, that's a nice politically correct statement. Not with Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, actually Krishna desires, that's why I am here now, give me. He gives $20,000. It happens in a Western country. So you will see, we may think sometimes, why should I actually bother so much? I am very happy. But there is a danger to be sitting in a cozy position in material world. When Lord Brahma, accompanied by all the demigods, including Mother Earth, Bhumi Devi, in the form of cow, they go to the shore of Kshirodaka ocean and they offer Purusha Shukta prayers. Brahma sits in meditation. Krishna reveals himself within his heart and he gives instruction, which Brahma relays to everyone. What's the instruction? That he is soon going to appear, that he is very well aware of the atrocities of Kamsa, and the demigods are supposed to take birth in Vrajabhumi, in different dynasties where Krishna is about to descend, and they are supposed to assist him. Who is the king of all demigods? Indra. Indra also hears that instructions, relays it to the demigods. Demigods go to different places. Vrajabhumi, some go to Mathura, and they appear. What does Krishna do? Or rather, what does Indra do? After delegating all the services, he goes to his own abode. He gives the services to everyone, but as far as himself, he goes to his own abode. Now, whoever appeared as Gopi, because it's not just the demigods, but the wives of demigods also, they accompany. And when they appear as different personalities in Vrindavan. So Indra, he delegates the services, everyone goes, and they appear in each of the different family, whereas Indra, the joy of delegation. As a leader, he was supposed to be leading from the front. But after delegation, he goes to his own Swarga. And he's happily relaxing there. Now if you fast forward, because Indra alone didn't do any service, all the other demigods, they benefited immensely, taking the personal association of Krishna, being as cows being milked by Krishna, as associates being in the constant association of Krishna. Whereas Indra staying far away because he didn't do any service, he enjoys his time. And then later on, if you fast forward, because he didn't do any service, how does Krishna say we can understand him? Bhaktya mama bijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato yatva vijashate tadanantaram. Simply by doing devotional service only, Krishna agrees to reveal himself. And he revealed himself to whoever who appeared in Vrajabhumi, whoever who appeared in his dynasty. But because Indra didn't do any service, Krishna doesn't reveal. And because of that, Indra does a very, very grave mistake of offending Krishna, offending Vrindavan, offending the cows, gopis, everyone. So we should never feel cozy in Krishna consciousness thinking, I'm doing fine, because that's what Indra thought. But we should always think, as far as I'm able, And we'll always be able until we die, and even after death as well. Focus should always be on doing devotional service. That's an additional inspiration if you fall in any of these 4 categories to come for this weekend's meeting. So we should never think, I'm chanting, I'm doing very well, because there is no safe position. Only safe position is when we are directly in association of Krishna, and it benefits even someone as demoniac as Kamsa. In fact, without knowing what to do with his fortunate position, the demigods had to intervene, and they had to broadcast the Akashvani to the whole world that he is about to, or the woman who you are driving in your chariot, 8th child of her will kill you. You fool. So they are inciting him because they want to stop his devotional service. And you will see Narada Muni also. That's where we ended last week. Vasudeva, true to his promise, he carries each one of the babies to Kamsa. Kim dusaham nu sadhunam vidusham kim apekshitam kim makaryam kadaryanam dustejam kim dridatmanam. Shukadeva Goswami says this. Kim dusaham nu sadhunam. What is it so difficult for a sadhu to perform? Somebody whose focus is simply to go back to the spiritual world. Somebody who is doing sadhana is a sadhu. What can be more difficult if someone is so focused on that? Kim dusaham nu sadhunam vidusham kim apekshitam. How can a devotee, after taking shelter of Krishna, not feel independent of the pangs of material energy? In other words, as soon as somebody takes shelter, Mahatmanastu Mampartha, Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha. As long as someone takes shelter of Krishna, someone takes shelter of devotional service, someone takes shelter of chanting the holy name, one will immediately feel protected. How will they not feel independent? In other words, how will they not feel connected to the Supreme Lord? Kim dusaham nu sadhunam vidusham kim apekshitam kim akaryam kadaryanam. For someone with such a low level consciousness, what is so forbidden for them? They'll do anything. Prabhupada, in one of the books he writes, small books, Prabhupada says, what is it that a goat doesn't eat? Have you seen goats? They just eat anything. Keep on eating. What is it a goat doesn't eat? And what is it a madman doesn't speak? Prabhupada says like that, quoting a Bengali proverb. Prabhupada always quotes a lot of Bengali proverbs. So, Kim Makaryam Kadaryanam. What forbidden act will a person of such low level demoniac consciousness not do? Dustajam dim kim dridatmanam. What is it a pure devotee, when he says this to glorify about the position of Vasudeva, what is it a pure devotee like Vasudeva can't give up in the service of Krishna? In other words, a pure devotee gives up anything if that is favorable for the service of Krishna. So Vasudeva, he sticks to his principle. He is a man of word and he is honoring his word, even though to honor the word, it's actually very difficult. In this case, if he has to honor his word, then it means he has to sacrifice the life of one of his child. Still he is leading by example. So this Krishna Katha, when we study, we have to understand it's not about Krishna. One of Prabhupada's disciples, she drew a beautiful artwork of Krishna and then she takes it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada looks at it and she says, no, this artwork is not bona fide. And then she asks why. And Prabhupada says, Krishna is alone. Krishna is never alone. Krishna is always with some cow, with some gopa, gopi, father, mother, friends. Someone will always be with them. Prema Madhurya. He's always be accompanied, flanked by his pure devotees. So this is Krishna's position. So here, after fulfilling all his duty, he is now awaiting the verdict of Kamsa. Kamsa being very touched by this gesture or this honoring of the word which Vasudeva gave. Kamsa says, it's fine, it's only the 8th child who's predicted to be my nemesis, so I can take back the child. But then as soon as Vasudeva goes, Narada Muni comes in. Narada Muni's position is also similar to like demigods. Because demigods, when they see Kamsa doing devotional service to Vasudeva and Devaki, they wanted to interrupt. Similarly, Narada Muni is also thinking, what is this? Kamsa suddenly become pious? He's dealing with the devotees sweetly? Bad. But the lesson for us to learn in this Lila is, if we deal with the devotees nicely, then again we get immense, inconceivable spiritual benefits. On the other hand, if we offend the devotees, there are many things we will lose. We'll study that in the subsequent chapters. Shukadeva Goswami lists all of them. What are the things you are going to lose? Ayush, Shriyam, Yasho, Dharmam. So many things we lose. So here Narada Muni, after arriving in the palace of Kamsa, he is worried if Kamsa suddenly becomes pious, then there won't be much need for Krishna to descend, but I want to see Krishna. Devotees' psychology is different. So I better go and tell him, I better go and scare him so he'll do more bad things, and that will accelerate the descent of Krishna. So he goes to Kamsa and he tells Kamsa, don't you know Kamsa? Many people in Vrajabhumi as well as in Mathura who have appeared recently, they are all actually incarnations of demigods. They are demigods themselves. So when Kamsa was actually hearing that, his heart gets disturbed. Now he is thinking, demigods, if they come, they don't come for ordinary mundane reason. It's said that whenever demigods come down, they don't even touch this ground. For them, this is a very filthy place. Places of pilgrimage they go, like Kurukshetra they go, you will come across. It's a place. Vrindavan they go. But otherwise, generally in material world, when they come, this is like imagine you go to a place where there's like sewage everywhere. How will you walk? Demigods come like that. They don't even touch, they float, it's given. So, Kamsa was aware of this fact, and Kamsa was thinking demigods wouldn't appear for no reason. There must be some significant reason. And then he thinks, puts things together and he says, this means Krishna is going to come. So then he changes his mind. And Narada Muni, just to make sure Kamsa doesn't suddenly become pious again, Narada Muni now reveals to him about his previous life as well. You know, that's like the last nail in the coffin. You know, you just be demoniac. That's all Narada Muni wants. Then Narada Muni narrates to him about his previous life. That is given in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we know this story long ago when there was a clash between the Devatas, demigods and the demons. They once came to a pact, arrived at a pact that they both will churn the milk ocean to derive nectar out of it, and then they would share the nectar equally. But then we know, as things transpired, Krishna in his most alluring, beautiful form, as Mohini Murti, he comes, he takes everything and he feeds the nectar to all the demigods only. Just like how a mother will seat her children in a row and she would give, similarly, Mohini Murti, she gives the nectar only to the demigods. And then after that pastime, Vishnu boards on Garuda and he goes back to his abode of Vaikuntha. Meanwhile, the demons, they realized that they had been tricked by Vishnu. So now they regroup themselves again under the leadership of Bali Maharaj. And with renewed vigor, they attack the demigods. If you read 8th canto, you will see the detailed description of that war. So one of the army generals in the army of Bali Maharaj was Kalanemi. Mali, Sumali, you will come across names like that, names of personalities. So about Kalanemi, because he is of interest here to us, he was Kamsa in Dwapara Yuga. He was Kalanemi in his previous life. And if you read the description, there is a beautiful artwork by BBT. You can see that in 8th canto. He drives on the back of a lion with the trident in his hand. And then he attacks the demigods. And the demigods didn't know what to do. To a certain extent, they actually retaliated. But when things go out of their hand, especially when the demons start to exercise their illusory powers, not knowing where to go, they immediately remember Krishna, meditate on Krishna. In fact, 10th canto, at the start itself, you will see Parikshit Maharaj putting forth this request to Shukadeva Goswami, asking him to speak about the glories of Krishna. Now, whole Srimad Bhagavatam is 12 cantos. Prabhupada, when he was writing 3rd canto, one day he calls his disciples. That was the time when they had formed BBT. He calls his disciples and Prabhupada tells, so this is how I'm going to write a Srimad Bhagavatam. And I conceive that is going to be this many volumes. And then Prabhupada, he says something interesting. Prabhupada says, how much ever I will write from 1st canto till 9th canto, I will write twice of that from 10th to 12th. So 9th canto is like the midpoint, even though 9 looks like a bigger number. But the amount of verses that Shukadeva Goswami dedicates to glorify Krishna, it's almost half of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is simply to glorify Krishna, to record about his pastimes. So we can roughly assume that when Krishna Lila started, it was already 3.5 days finished. Since Parikshit Maharaj started to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Now after 3.5 days of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Nayesha tidu sahashun mam tyaktodam apibadate pibantam twan mukamboja chutam harikatamrutam. He says, oh my spiritual master Shukadeva Goswami, I have been fasting from food and fasting from water as well for so many days to abstain from all of this, abstain from eating, abstain from drinking. It's actually Ati dusaha shunmam, which means dusaha means difficult. Ati dusaha means very difficult. Even though fasting from water, fasting from eating any food, it's actually very, very difficult, still I don't feel weak. I don't feel exhausted. Nayashati ati sahashun mam tyaktodam apibadate pibantam twan mukamboja. Why? Because I am drinking the nectar which is emanating mukha amboja from your lotus mouth, because my ears are drinking about the nectarian pastimes of Krishna. I don't feel exhausted at all. I don't feel weak at all. So here demigods, they understand that the only personality who can help in this situation is Krishna. Just like how we would also think, suddenly somebody may lose job. Suddenly something very unexpected happened in one's life and we don't know where to go. So then what do? We immediately pray to God. We immediately come to Radha Gopinath. And Gopinath, as usual, will be dancing. You look at him and Gopinath will reveal from within our heart. Because whoever has come to take shelter of Krishna, Krishna's promise is he'll give them unlimited protection forever. So Krishna immediately, he reveals, he gives knowledge. He shows us the means how we can come out of that difficult position. So here in this position where demigods are being attacked by these illusory weapons, they meditate on Krishna. Immediately on the back of Garuda, Vishnu appears. And then Kalanemi, when he looks at Vishnu, you read the description, you'll get goosebumps. The fight of Vishnu against the demons. His lion is so big, Garuda is flying. From his lion, he is hurling his trident, attacking not Vishnu, because he cannot do anything to Vishnu. So he thinks it's just Garuda, so I'll attack Garuda. So he is hurling it on Garuda. Now at least if you hurl on Krishna, he won't take offense, he'll enjoy it. If somebody tries to attack devotees, Krishna will get even more angry. So then he catches the trident. With the same trident, he hurls back, killing not just Kalanemi, his lion also it's given. He throws it, it pierces him, pierces the lion also. Both fall down dead. And that was Kamsa. And then you cut the scene there, Kamsa is born again. This time in an even more ferocious form, ready to be killed again by the Lord. So Narada Muni reveals this history to Kamsa and he says, here is your opportunity. So now Kamsa is getting ready. So immediately he goes, kills the first child, imprisons Vasudeva and Devaki, and then calls for a meeting of all his generals, and then he goes wherever he suspects either the Supreme Lord can potentially appear or he suspects any of his eternal associates appearing. He goes on an arresting spree and he starts from his own father, Ugrasen. He imprisons Ugrasen because Ugrasen was a great king who is considered to be the leader of all Yadus, Vrishnis, Andakas, everyone. And then he assumes kingship and then he starts to rule. So this is how the first chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it ends with him unleashing all his demoniac power, trying to overpower everyone. And that brings us to the next chapter, which is on the prayers by demigods. So I'll read the last verse of chapter 1. Kamsa, the most powerful son of Ugrasen, even imprisoned his own father, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja and Andaka dynasties, and personally ruled the states known as Shurasena. So that brings us to the next chapter, which is prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. Shukadeva Goswami said, under the protection of Magadharaj Jarasandha, the powerful Kamsa began persecuting the kings of the Yadu dynasty. In this, he had the cooperation of demons. You will come across these demons' names who Krishna will kill one after the other later. In his, he had the cooperation of the demons like Pralamba, Bakasura, the Baka bird, Chanura, Trinavarta, Agasura, Mushtika, Arista, Dvivida, Putana, Keshi, Denuka, Banasura, Narakasura, and many other demoniac kings on the surface of earth. He is listing all this, already foretelling each one of them will be killed by Krishna. And we know the story behind each one of their killing. How Krishna, he kills each one of them. Most of them in Vrindavan, some he kills in Mathura. Like Chanur Mushtik, he kills in Mathura. Kuvalayapid, Narakasura, he goes to Narakasura's kingdom. You will come across that. And after killing him, he then marries 16,000 princesses. Persecuted by the demoniac kings, the Yadavas left their own kingdom and entered various others like those of the Kurus, Panchalas, Kekayas, Shalvas, Vidarbhas, Nishadas, Videhas and Koshalas. You will come across these dynasties in Mahabharata, and you will come across some of them in Kurukshetra war as well. How the kings ruling each one of these kingdoms, they were all assembled on either side, either on Pandava side or on Kaurava side. Some of their relatives, however, began to follow Kamsa's principles and act in his service. After Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, killed the 6 sons of Devaki. So after killing the first son of Devaki, he imprisons Vasudeva and Devaki, and then as soon as each one of the next 5 children are born, he kills them. After Kamsa, the son of Ugrasen killed the 6 sons of Devaki. So Devaki had 8. Of the 8, he already killed 6. So Devaki had 8 sons and 1 daughter. After Kamsa, the son of Ugrasen killed the 6 sons of Devaki, a plenary portion of Krishna entered her womb as her 7th child. Lord Balaram ki jai. Arousing her pleasure. In fact, that's the meaning of the name Ram. Ram means one who gives pleasure. That's why when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here Krishna and Rama refers to Supreme Lord Krishna. Rama means one who gives pleasure. So Krishna as Govinda, he gives pleasure to all the senses. He gives pleasure to the cows. So that's why Krishna is called Govinda. So here one of his plenary portion entered her womb as her 7th child. So when you study Shastras, you will see how Krishna, since time immemorial, he has always been accompanied by his eternal associates. But originally, Krishna, he just thought, I am one, I would like to enjoy with more people. Suddenly from his left arm, Srimati Radharani appeared. From his right arm, Balarama appeared. And all the different Vishnu tattvas, they come from Balaram as his expansion. This is Supreme Lord. You like to try? I like to enjoy. You see any expansion coming out? No. Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he thinks just happens. Whatever he likes just appears like that. That is Supreme Lord. So here, that plenary portion is appearing as Devaki's 7th child, arousing her pleasure and her lamentation. Pleasure because this is Supreme Lord. She knows this is my beautiful child who's going to be born soon. Lamentation because she knows as soon as the baby is born, Kamsa is going to kill the baby. That plenary portion is celebrated by great sages as Ananta, who belongs to Krishna's 2nd quadruple expansion. Chaturvyuha, Adi Chaturvyuha, Dvitiya Chaturvyuha. So this belongs to the 2nd quadruple. Saptamo Vaishnavam Dama Yamanantam Prachakshate Garbo Babhuva Devakya Harsha Shoka Vivardanaha. Harsha Shoka. Harsha means happiness. Shoka means lamentation. So she is feeling happy because she has conceived a 7th child. Sad because she is worried that as soon as the baby is born, Kamsa is going to kill him. To protect the Yadus, his personal devotees, from Kamsa's attack, the personality of Godhead, Vishwatma, the supreme soul of everyone, ordered Yogamaya as follows. So this is after Balaram is conceived in the womb of Devaki. Now Krishna is calling Yogamaya. Gacha Devi Vrajam Badre Gopa Gopir Alankritam Rohini Vasudevasya Bharyaste Nanda Gokule Anyascha Kamsa Samvigna Vivareshu Vashantihi. The Lord ordered Yogamaya, O my potency, who are worshipable for the entire world, and whose nature is to bestow good fortune upon all living entities, go to Vraja. where there live many cowherd men and their wives. In that very beautiful land where many cows reside, Rohini, the wife of Vasudev, is living at the home of Nanda Maharaj. So when Vasudev and Devaki were arrested, Vasudev had many wives. So Vasudev, fearing for their lives, he had sent them to different places. So among them, Rohini Mata, Rohini Devi is also one of the wives of Vasudev. He had sent Rohini to Vrindavana to be under the care and protection of Nanda Baba and Yashodamaya. In that very beautiful land where many cows reside, Rohini, the wife of Vasudev, is living at the home of Nanda Maharaj. Other wives of Vasudev are also living there incognito because of fear of Kamsa. So all the other wives of Vasudev also were residing in Vrindavan. Please go there. So Krishna is asking Yogamaya to go there. Within the womb of Devaki is my partial plenary expansion known as Sankarshana or Sesha. Without difficulty, transfer him into the womb of Rohini. So he is asking Lord Balaram to be moved from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. O all auspicious Yogamaya, I shall then appear with my full 6 opulences as the son of Devaki, and you will appear as the daughter of Mother Yashoda, the queen of Maharaj Nanda. By sacrifices of animals, ordinary human beings will worship you gorgeously with various paraphernalia, because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. So she is going to appear. She is Yogamaya, but then when she appears for the demons in material world, she appears as Mahamaya or as Durga Devi. And now Krishna will list the different names how she will be worshipped. Lord Krishna blessed Maya Devi by saying, in different places on the surface of earth, people will give you different names such as Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada and Ambika. So these are the different names of Durga Devi. And Krishna is giving her this benediction, that this is how she will be worshipped in different places. And for what purpose will she be worshipped in general? She will be worshipped not for pure devotional service, not for bhakti, but for fulfillment of some material desires. The son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Sankarshana because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Akarshana means one who attracts, one who connects. So Sankarshana here refers to, he is bringing 2 families together. How? By being transferred from the womb of Devaki to that of Rohini. So that's why Balaram is known as Sankarshana. The son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Sankarshana because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. And now he is explaining more about Balaram. He will be called as Rama because of his ability to please all inhabitants of Gokula. And he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength. Prabhupada explains, this strength doesn't mean only physical strength, but it also means spiritual strength. Many times we may feel very down, most of the times. So if you want strength, you take darshan of Balaram. You will see Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani. So you can look at Balaram and you pray, he will give us strength. Both spiritual strength as well as physical strength, material strength. Whenever we feel weak, we remember Krishna's brother. Okay, so he is known as Balaram and he is called as Rama because he gives pleasure to people. It's the description of Lord Balaram's beauty is given. Our Balaram is super merciful. Even if you, as soon as you enter, you look from there, you will see his big smile. always happily smiling. So whoever looks at him, they will have all their material lamentation, they'll have all their pain, any shoka, any distress which one may have in one's heart, Balaram wipes it out effortlessly. So he is so powerful. Prabhupada, after he opened the Krishna Balaram temple, he calls the temple president in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada says, so this is Krishna Balaram, Supreme Lords. If you have any trouble, just come in front of them and you tell them, my dear sirs, we have such and such problem, and they will fix it. And Prabhupada says, because they are Supreme Lords, they don't have any problem, so they will fix everyone else's problem. Many times we would love to help others, but we may not have the means to help. But Supreme Lord is not like that. He likes to help, and he also has the means, unlimited means. So he can provide unlimited help. So we should always come to Krishna for any kind of help. And if we come, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Shukritano Arjuna. Krishna is giving full credit simply to going to him. You go to a bank to apply for a loan. Do you think the bank will feel grateful that you have gone there to get the loan? No. In many ways, people will see you as burden. You can go to your close friends asking for money. They won't feel grateful. Wow, my friend has come to actually ask money from me. Let me give. You'll be lucky if they open the door. But for Krishna, he's saying, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Shukritino Arjuna. 4 types of people come to me. Artho Jignashu Artharthi Jnani Cha Bharata Rishabha. Those who are distressed, they come to me. Those who are in need of something, they come to me. Those who are inquisitive. Everyone is going to temple. Why? I also want to know. Those kind of people also come to me. And those who are searching for absolute truth. Those who are really looking after some spiritual knowledge, they also come to me. But Krishna says, Jana Shukritino Arjuna. Shukritino Arjuna. Krishna is treating all of them as pious people. And Krishna is very, very liberal. In fact, Shukadeva Goswami, he says in the first chapter itself, Vasudeva Kata Prashna Purusham Strin Punatihi Vaktaram Prichakam Shrotrim Tatpada Shalilam Yata. Just like how when Mother Ganga, she pierces through the hole that was created by Vamanadev when he was scaling the upper planetary system, he pokes the universe with his toe, making a hole. At that time, Mother Ganga, she enters through that hole, seeping in. And as she comes in, she inundates the higher planetary system, middle planetary system, as well as lower planetary system. All the 3. So he uses Tatpada Shalilam Yata. Just like how Mother Ganga, she gives her mercy to all the 3 planetary systems. Similarly, whenever there is any katha of Krishna, whenever there is any glorification of the pastimes of Krishna is done, 3 people are benefited. Vaktaram, those who is speaking, in this case it's me. Prichakam, those who are asking any questions. Shrotrim, all the secondary audience. Some may be just sitting there, not contributing in any way, but they will also be benefited. Vaktaram, Prachakam, Shrotrim. Shrotrim means only just hearing, not asking any questions, not talking either. But those who speak, those who Prachakam means those who ask questions, those who speak, as well as those who just hear. 2 people, have you seen in some class? Some people will always seem to have a lot of questions, and you also wonder, I also attended the same class, have you got that experience? I used to think everything was clear, like that we think. But some people always have questions. But it's nice, that's what makes the discussion interesting. Because if you look at the whole Shastra, any Shastra, it will always be based on question and answer. You name any section of Shastra. You take Mahabharata, it will be discussion. Okay, Vaishampayana telling to Janamejai, you will come across. You take Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaking to Arjuna. If you take Srimad Bhagavatam, you will come across different levels also. That it's like Panchatantra story within a story within a story. There's a conversation, meta conversation. Okay, you'll have Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Parishit Maharaj, but even on a much more higher level, you will see the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, asking Sutta Goswami. And then he will narrate, yeah, this is a good question. Same question was asked by Parishit Maharaj, and this is what Shukadeva Goswami said. So he will narrate about other question and answer. And then Shukadeva Goswami also, when he speaks, he would say, this is a good question. Even your grandfather asked this question. And then he will narrate discussion between Narada Muni and, let's say, Yudhishthir Maharaj. Or Maitreya and Vidura. Like that you will come across. So Krishna is very accessible. You see the sound? Krishna is accessible. He is taking his dinner now. 8:40, he'll take dinner for 15 minutes, and 9 o'clock he'll be ready to give arati. Whenever he gives arati, make no mistake, he has already finished his meal. That's what it means. 6 aratis in a day, 6 times he has eaten. So, even this is purifying. Simply you hear this, it will drive away. It's given. Shastra says simply hearing this ringing of bell, drive away all inauspiciousness. Sometimes you come, you think, oh, I'm not taking darshan just to hear the sound. Go, problem solved already. No problem. That's how powerful Krishna is. And if you can wait for another 20 minutes, wait and see. To get mesmerized by his beauty. So simply by being in the association of devotees, one can get benefited this way. Okay, so Krishna is very, very accessible. Whoever comes to Krishna, Krishna readily gives himself. So here, Krishna is talking about Balarama. Simply by remembering, worshipping Lord Balaram, one gets strength, one gets happiness, and one gets through whatever trouble which one may come across in one's life. We'll stop here and continue tomorrow. So we'll continue from text 14, prayers by the demigods. Because now Balaram is transferred. After this, on and only Supreme Lord will appear, and as soon as he appears, the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, they will come and they offer beautiful prayers to Krishna in the womb of Mother Devaki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai, Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Sri Sri Gaura Nitai ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath's devotees ki jai, devotees in Mahapu TV, YouTube and Facebook ki jai, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.